Alright, so I am in Reno, Nevada, and I am getting ready to head out tomorrow morning to climb a mountain peak in the middle of nowhere that I guarantee you've never heard of, called Mount Limbo. So Mount Limbo is in the desert, and I honestly don't know where I first discovered Mount Limbo. Sometimes I just randomly go and look at maps and try to find mountains that are obscure and rocky that maybe people haven't climbed before. Anyways, it's about 95 degrees outside right now, so it's super hot. And so my plan is I'm gonna make dinner, and then tomorrow morning I'm gonna wake up super early and head out to try to climb this mountain peak, but I'm gonna head out early so I can avoid the sun. So what I have here are two burners, a big one and a little one. And what I'm doing is I'm using the little one to cook the tortillas, and the big one I'm using for the veggies and the meat. And there are 3 T's in cooking: taste, temperature, and texture. And in order to get everything to come out at the right temperature, it's got to come out at the right time, at the same time. So in order to do that, one of the really big success factors in the kitchen is multitasking and being able to move quickly, being able to react quickly, really. All right, so here's a look at the summit of Mount Limbo. As you can see, it's kind of a jagged ridge line here. And this is kind of in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it is the desert after all. One of the things I like about the desert is the sense of space you get out here. Very open. Alright, so I don't know exactly where to begin here, but this spot looks as good as any. I kind of parked my car underneath this crackling power line here. Alright, so I made it to kind of the summit area here. It's about 10:35. The summit is right there. And I am very hot, very tired. I took forever to get up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and tag the summit real quick before it gets too hot. Here's a look at the summit area. So that is the summit. Pretty cool summit, I have to say. Here's the view up here. Very unique. So that right there is Purgatory Peak, and this is called Mount Limbo, but it might as well be called Hell Peak because it was hell to get up here. It was hot as hell. Definitely the hottest I've ever hiked for sure. So I'm gonna get down pretty quick so I don't get heat stroke. But pretty amazing summit. Wow, it's so empty up here, you know? You know, whenever I look at a landscape like this, or like any landscape really, I feel like, it's very hard to explain this, but I feel like they have like a personality, you know what I mean? Like, I can't really explain this in words, but it's like, it's almost like nature is an artist, and what I'm looking at are like the brush strokes, you know what I'm saying? And I can see the brush strokes. It's just very beautiful. It's very hard to explain, but for some reason I like it. So here goes the down climb. It's actually not that hard of a summit block, but I would recommend bringing climbing shoes because it might be a little tricky to do in boots. Obviously this is not for beginners, but it's definitely not for advanced either. You know what I'm saying? I feel like with the right shoes and a little bit of patience, anyone can do it. Whew. Honestly, I'm not that scared, but the thing is, if I was to fall right here and break my leg, I mean, obviously I'd be dead, you know, unless I could, you know, use this thing. I haven't really talked about this much in my videos, but it's a Garmin, you know, it's for emergencies, really. You know, you never know. You break your leg, you're not going anywhere. I use it for navigation too. Mostly like to retrace my steps, but it's just handy to know, you know, like if you break your leg, you can at least call for a helicopter, which is, you know, last resort, I guess. All right, so that's gonna do it for my climb up Mount Limbo, a desert mountain peak in the middle of nowhere. Before I wrap up this video though, I wanna show you something real quick on the board. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've drawn the route on the board here. Let me show you a couple things real quick on the map. And really this is not a map, it's more of a diagram, but I just need to show you a couple things. So Reno is this direction here, southwest, and 447 is the road you're gonna come from. And there's a power line on the right-hand side of this road, and you're gonna see this dirt road here. Pyramid Lake is this way. So you're just past Pyramid Lake, you're just past Winnemucca Lake, which isn't really a lake, it's more of a dry lake bed. And you're gonna see this dirt road here. So from here to here is about 4 miles. And the dirt road is not that bad. It's something you can do in a sedan. I had a sedan. And I parked my car right about here. I did see there was a dirt road that went up this way, but I didn't take it because it looked like my car couldn't handle it. So if you have a four-wheel drive, you might want to consider going this way to save yourself some time. But I went along this ridge here and kind of, went this way. And it's pretty much, scrambling, I'd say, to get up here. And I kind of went to the right-hand side of this main ridge here to get up to Mount Limbo. I got there around 10:30 or so, I think. And Purgatory Peak was just, a little distance away, but I was so hot that I had to turn back and, get down as soon as possible, because the challenge with climbing Mount Limbo is that it's just super hot. And so the sun is the killer. Everything revolves around the sun there. So you gotta plan your hike so that you can do it in the morning. And I did want to point out, there is a road on this side, and so you could actually conceivably go from the east, although I think the west-hand side makes more sense because here you have shade, like in the morning, and you really want to maximize the shade as much as possible because it's just so hot. Also, this whole area, like here, this is the middle of nowhere. So you're not likely to encounter any people at all on the trail going to Mount Limbo or even on the road here. The reason I bring this up is because if something happens to you or if something happens to your car, you're gonna have to go to this road at a minimum to get help because you're really out in the middle of nowhere. All right, so I hope you enjoyed my climb up Mount Limbo. Take care and happy trails.